Again, will it differ in casual conversation cartoon curriculum? It's very concise and relatively correct. As simple as possible, as soon as possible. A&P Chapter 22, our fourth attempt at saying something here. Now we're into the idea of a specific type of phagocyte, just a heroic little character here, called a natural killer cell. Now, you have five basic types of white blood cells. There's neutrophils, eosinophils, basophils, monocytes, and lymphocytes. When we think of lymphocytes, we usually think about T cells and B cells, but here is a lymphocyte that's got a different character than the T's and the B's. They're called NK, or natural killer cells. The big deal distinction between the natural killer cells and their cousins is the fact that the natural killer cells do not have a single specific target. They're very generic. They go after just about anything that's unusual inside your body, whereas the T and B cells have to be educated. In essence, they're sort of like college kids. They went off to college, whether it was the thymus or the bone marrow. They learned a very specific target that they were supposed to go after later in life, and then they went out in the body and they looked for that one and only target that they were given as an assignment. Not natural killer cells. They don't go through that education right there, but they are able to recognize a wide variety of problematic cells. For example, they can very often identify cancerous or precancerous cells, and also they can identify virus-infected cells. Now, what's unique about that is the fact that if the cancer is a problem deep inside the cell, if the virus is deep inside the cell, there has to be some outward expression on the surface of the cell membrane for a white blood cell to know that there's a problem inside the cell. It's sort of like a shop. It's got a display window, it's got a door on the thing, and if you're a policeman and you just drove by and everything looked normal, you would not assume that anything's bad inside. But there could be a robbery going on inside or a hostage situation. But if the outside looks fine and dandy, you don't know that. But let's say you drive by and you notice that in this donut shop, the donuts aren't out at their normal time, or maybe they're in a different location, or maybe a certain kind of donut that's always there isn't there. Maybe window shades are pulled down and that's not normal. Well, all those are indications that something might be going on inside. All those are things that might cause white blood cells to investigate, and natural killer cells are definitely one that would go and investigate. So they are unusual lymphocytes. Now, when they do bump into a target and decide it's something that needs to be taken care of, their attitude is not a minor adjustment. Their attitude is destroy, destroy. So let's say that this right here is the cell. Something's gone weird inside the cell. Something's bad with the DNA, and so therefore we're talking about cancer. Or maybe some kind of a virus got inside and it's turned this thing into a virus factory. The natural killer cell, recognizing the changes on the surface of the cell, comes over and parks itself. Natural killer cell. Natural killer cell can then produce chemicals called perforins. The perforins perforate the cell membrane. Now, in a way, what they do is they lay down a circle of molecules, and then that circle expands. Sort of like a whole bunch of people stood shoulder to shoulder and they held hands, and then they walked backwards and created a large circle, a large opening. Well, this, of course, can cause the cytoplasm inside to spill out and other chemicals to come in. So in essence, this cell's going to die, but that's not enough. The natural killer cell goes one step farther. Besides using the perforins to poke a hole inside this thing, now it sends in granzymes. Now, the granzymes, let's just put a G right here, their job is to shred up macromolecules inside this cell. In essence, they blew a hole in the side of the store right there, went in and destroyed everything. Now, there is no hope for saving the cell. That's not the issue. The issue is to make sure that the bad stuff, lousy DNA or viruses, are blown up, destroyed in the process. So it's not just deflating the cell and killing it, but it's making sure that there's no macromolecules inside that could leak out and become problematic. This process, by the way, is called apoptosis. And it refers to dropping this thing completely. You didn't deflate it, you just blew the thing up. So again, apoptosis. I hope I spelled that right. Yeah, I did. Anywho, so natural killer cells, absolutely amazing. They're part of your immunosurveillance. They're constantly moving through your body, and they're constantly looking for something that isn't normal, and they will attack it.